So I am so excited to introduce this panel to you because I think this is going to be one of the best that we have done this year. To my right is Jennifer Macaluso Gilmore. She has an organization called Something Different for Women. Our lives collided when I took her women's empowerment course about 5 years ago. And as a South Asian woman, I would argue that I probably didn't have the blueprint for advocating on my own behalf and doing it gracefully. And that is one thing that I think I learned from being in her class. She is someone who commands a room like nobody I've ever seen, and I've taken many classes, so I'm so excited that you have come back for this panel today. And she has so many amazing tips to share with you. And she, most importantly, has 2 kids. Yes. And to her right is Shobha Tumala, who's been in my life sort of silently since 2001 because I've been a patron of her threading salons since their inception here in New York. Her empire has since grown to 4 salons in Manhattan, the newest one now in DC. And one of the things that she does, she's an engineer by trade, and so she's a big fan of process. And that's something that she runs across the board through all the estheticians that she brings from India that do all of the work in her salons. And a lot of them have gone on to become the primary breadwinners of their families, which is wonderful to hear. So she's someone who regularly engages in teaching and educating women, which is why she was chosen to be on this panel today. And then finally, to her right, oh, and by the way, she has 2 children as well. Yes. That's important. I didn't just pick her out of a lineup. And the final person on our panel today is Swanya Katari Mehta, who is our title sponsor and has allowed us to be in her beautiful, beautiful boutique. So please give her an applause for allowing us to be here tonight. You are also a mother of 2, but one of the things that you have done is give some of the high-end designers, like the equivalent of a Dolce & Gabbana and the equivalent of a Versace, a platform here in New York so women can shop and have access to some of the high-end couture from India. And so it's so wonderful. I'm wearing a Rana Gill tonight that you have so generously gifted to me, and thank you very much. She's following me on Twitter. I'm so excited. So as I said, this panel tonight is about work-life balance, and we are just going to go through a bunch of tips that I have established in having conversations with everybody on the phone. And you know, I've also actually talked to you over the course of the last 30 days and asked many of you, what do you do to achieve work-life balance? And one of the ones that comes up again and again, Jen, is be kind to yourself.
I just want to first say thank you for having me tonight. It's an honor to be here. I promised myself I wouldn't get emotional, but it's always an honor to sit in a room full of women. I'm a huge, anyone that knows me well, knows I'm a huge fan of the female race, and I love and applaud any women that put women together like this in this forum in a room full of women to have the kind of dialogues we're having tonight. So thank you for letting me be a part of that. And I'm a little nervous. I've been home with my kids for 18 months, and I honestly was like a little worried. I had to get dressed tonight in real clothes. I had to do my hair. I put heels on. I was telling my girlfriend as we were walking, 2 blocks, I hope I can like walk the whole way here and not trip. And then I tripped right after that. But yeah, the first thing everything I shared with Joya on the pre-interview are the lessons that I'm living myself right now. So, I've worked with women for a decade, and I've worked with nearly 1,000 women in this city and globally. And I can tell you that the number one thing, and I'm living it again, is I would say to all of ourselves to be kind to ourselves. I really believe that we are the hardest on ourselves. And when we're hard on ourselves, what happens is we're hard on each other. And so one of the things that I have really felt most proud of in my work is creating a community of women who support each other. And, I'm back in that place where I haven't been too kind to myself because I had to leave the workforce 18 months ago, and it was not the way I would have left or wanted to leave. It was very messy. I'm a real perfectionist. But I did the best that I could do, and I know that it happened that way because that was the lesson I needed to learn. And so I've really been doing my best to be kind to myself, practice kindness every day, and trust that at the right moment in time, I will return back to work. So I just want to remind us all at that first point, be kind to yourself. When we're kind to ourselves, we're kind to each other. And when we're kind to each other, we're kind to ourselves. So it's always a good little, reflective mirror there.
And to echo your point, Shobha, you had said that even before children, I know you had said with child number 1 it was manageable, but child number 2 you're like, okay, we got to put the brakes on. And Shobha, you said even before you had children, you were of the mind that you were very thoughtful about what it is that you chose to do.
I think being kind to ourselves is something that we say all the time, but I don't know if society and everyone around us supports that. And what I mean by that is I think as women and as mothers and as friends and as daughters, as the CEO, whatever it may be, everyone has expectations of us and what we're supposed to give to them and provide to them. So usually we're seen as selfish if we're actually trying to be kind to ourselves versus people are not necessarily supportive, if that makes sense. And so one of the things that I was telling Joya is that I've learned how to say no a lot, and I am very thoughtful about how I want to schedule my time and what I want to do. It's not necessarily easy, but and I think kind of thinking about it and being very thoughtful even at every phase of your life to say, okay, what are the things I want to do? And what are the things I'm going to allow into my life, and what are the things I'm going to say no to? And I say no a lot. I say no to a lot of events. I say no to a lot of activities. And I think that's really hard because people expect you to say yes to everything. And I say no to my family, which that's not easy to do always because there's a lot of expectations about what you're supposed to provide and what you're supposed to do. But that's something that you're not always supported to be kind to yourself, and so I think that's what we have to remember is to be very thoughtful and say, okay, what am I going to allow myself to provide time for?